Hey, this is Notser, and today we're going to be taking a look at Paolo Emilio. This is the premium tier 10 Italian destroyer. We're on the map Sleeping Giants. My build is on the screen. It is the same build that I would run on my French DD. The only exception being I should have taken the speed boost duration module in slot 2. As you can see, I'm going a rate of fire build, basic firing training, main battery reload as compensation for main battery reload, and honestly the slow turret traverse, I pick up expert marksman. Overall, this is a pretty outstanding ship, very devastating, and the semi-armor piercing is the reason why it's so good. I have around 37 millimeters of penetration with these 135 millimeter guns. That pretty much guarantees full damage against every single DD in the game, except for the Kaaba. It's very devastating, and the alpha on the salvo is impressive. So, this is obviously the Italian DD, and we've checked out an Italian cruiser. I'm going to show off more, but the way semi-armor piercing is set up, at least in this impression, semi-armor piercing is great at countering DDs. It has a lot of high alpha, and obviously you don't really care about fires because DDs can put them out very quickly. Obviously, sticking a fire on a DD that's recently used damage control is always nice, but wouldn't it be better if it was all upfront damage that they can't avoid? That's what semi-armor piercing represents, and as we moved forward, I was hoping to sort of bully myself into domination with this cap, but the enemy Z-52, I believe, had hydroacoustic up. There looks to be a Shimakaze. The enemy just beat us to the cap, and it's frustrating, but it's not something that the Italians, and the French for that matter, really care too much about because they can easily disengage at full speed. Once again, moving full back, I did decide to use the exhaust smoke, and for anyone curious, it is the exact same design as the Italian cruisers. It immediately engulfs your ship in smoke that lasts for 40 to 50 seconds to put the smoke out into the world, and for you to obviously move. You can move at full speed and still be completely concealed in smoke. That ends up feeling really nice on Italian cruisers, but it is especially nice on Italian DDs. You've got improved gun bloom detection. As long as I stay 3.5 or 3.6 kilometers away from the enemy, I should be completely fine dropping off instantly if I were to engage a target. Now, obviously, German Hydro, I didn't want to do that. But let's say, for instance, this Geary follows me in, keeps the target spotted while I'm smoking. Somehow he's not in my smoke. If I'm 4 kilometers away from the Shima, or the Cossack, or the Z-52, I could just pump for free semi-armor piercing shells round after round after round into the enemy DDs, and they can't spot me. And that's a big playability available to Italian DDs. Now, the smoke doesn't last very long, so effectively it feels very British in that regard. But the time that it does last is impactful, and that's the key bit of information. Just like main battery reload is for French DDs, the exhaust smoke generator, and sorry, I'm just trying to make sure I pronounce it correctly and the exact name of it so you guys know, what kind of smoke is it. It's the Italian smoke. Maybe someday they put it on something else. But the way it ends up working out, you really feel like you can dictate the pace, even if you have 7.1 kilometer detection. So we're over here on the west side. It didn't work out. I'm trying to wait out, honestly, the Z-52, and we are detected by whatever target. It's a Shima or a Cossack or a Z-52. Something is within 7.1 kilometers of my ship, and I don't really like that, especially with the Cleveland close. So in response, I'm going to bring my guns to bear on the Cleveland. Remember, we've got 37 millimeters of penetration with semi-armor piercing, which makes it very devastating against everything that moves, basically. If you can hit the shot, you're going to be doing a lot of alpha, and just a lot of alpha. Now, over the distance, it becomes almost impossible to hit. The shell arc is incredibly floaty. I think that's probably going to be an Italian trait as compensation for such a powerful skill as semi-armor piercing. But even with it floaty, we're able to hit some pretty nice shots and do damage enough that forces the Cleveland back. And I really enjoy the way semi-armor piercing sort of has a very strong feeling towards certain targets. It might have too strong of a feeling against too many targets, if I'm honest. Probably the biggest concern I have is that it crosses the 32 millimeter threshold on battleships quite easily. And yeah, sure, the shell velocity is horrendous at max range. I would not recommend advanced firing training. Any range extension, you're not going to be able to keep up. This is probably the slowest shell that I've seen fire from a ship in the game from a DD standpoint. It's up there with American DDs on just how long it's in the sky. And that's great for a stationary or a camping ship. That's really bad for actively maneuvering. So we pulled back. We did good damage against the Cleveland. Cleveland pulled back. Now we're pushing forward. We do have exhaust smoke. There are a couple enemies clearly close. There's a smoke and the Z-52, which is spotted. I think he was trying to fire over the island. And, oh, we're spotted by something. Now, just like the French DDs, I know where it's coming from for radiolocation. My plan is quite simple. Bait the target to think that he has a chance. Clearly, the Shima fell for the bait because he open fired. Because he open fired, we're going to use our exhaust smoke. And, oh, every single target is further than 3.5 kilometers. That means instantly stealth. And I can still fire my guns on cooldown. And oh, I was adjusting my shot for the Z-52, not thinking that the Shima would let me. But the Shima didn't have a choice there. We finished him off and instantly transition over to the Z-52. I would love to do damage to all these targets. It's one of the best parts about the Italian DDs. It's just the amount of damage they put out against other DDs. So the Z-52, he's camped on the corner. Probably thought they had a little bit bigger advantage than what they were actually getting themselves into. And we punished that Shima real hard. And now I don't have my smoke, which is a concern. I have to be very careful not to overextend. But the plan is, I think I could take these guys. I think for as powerful as semi-armor piercing is against DDs, I feel pretty confident that if I push into them, I should be able to kill them. Now we'll put that to the test. And of course, I'm going to send my super slow torpedoes. And we'll do a quick check. Nope, someone's still in line of sight. The Cleveland actually has moved from the western side of the border over to just perfectly in line of sight to spot me when I shot. I was trying to punish the JB. You can see how much damage we do. It does a lot of damage against literally everyone. And I wasn't able to do that. But what I was able to do is I was able to bait the Z-52 to drop smoke. I have no idea if he has hydro up or not, but earlier in the game, he certainly had hydro in use, so it might still be on cooldown. We don't know that. And I was trying to get a little cheeky. Oh, you're behind smoke. Oh, you're choosing to hide yourself. Well, you can't protect the JB. Can't protect the JB. Didn't end up doing anything, of course. So, you know, it's okay. Oh, we got a torpedo hit on something. And verify in the top right corner that something put the flood out. Okay. So now that I have that torpedo hit, I would love, and it's definitely not the Cossack that took it, so the Z-52 has taken a lot of damage, both from my torpedo, but also, obviously, gunfire from other people. I intend to try and kill him. I intend to also try and kill a Cossack. And this is one of the things about the Italians that I think is going to be universal. They are going to be very scary for any DD whatsoever. As long as semi-armor piercing is in the game, it's going to be terrifying to fight. If I was controlling the Z-52 or the Cossack, I would do a very simple detection plan, just like I would do in clan or rank, where I use my superior detection to keep the target spotted for other people to fire on. And we overextend a little bit, but oh my goodness, he showed way too much. We got the kill on the Hydro, and the JB's gone. It's all that's left here is the Cossack, so I'm just going to rush him. I have a crazy amount of damage output. The Cossack is very strong, but he's not strong against semi-armor piercing. And he's probably not expecting this kind of damage output. And oh, I think he's panicking. He pulled a hard Notser, and we just have an easy broadside. All I gotta do is really just kill him before he can kill me. And we have the alpha. We have the damage output to do that. Just gotta locate the shells. Thank you, Notser. And the Cossacks defeated. So just like that, you know, we work through engaging 3 separate DDs on a flank as an Italian DD. And I gotta say, I really like the tools that the Italians get to work with. I don't necessarily feel like they're overpowered, albeit they're overpowered when you have no idea what they do. And I think everyone's in that boat. They have no idea the kind of damage output Italians can do with their semi-armor piercing, both in the DD bracket and the cruiser bracket. And, you know, unlike the cruisers, This has terrible gun velocity, and I think that's a compromise that they needed to make. If this had the same gun velocity as the Italian cruisers, it would be broken. I regularly break 100,000 damage just firing semi-armor piercing. I do try to make use of torpedoes, and surprisingly, they actually hit. I know they're only 51 knots. The reason I don't use torpedo acceleration, 56 knots is still slow. And would I rather spend 2 points there or 2 points on expert marksman or last stand, right? You wouldn't. So that's my personal decision that I've made. But I could totally see someone trying to make that work. And would it work? I don't know. I don't know why you would ignore these guns. These guns are magical. Absolutely magical. I mean, we're firing on this Georgia, and we're doing quite well. It's very straightforward, the way these guns work. Over the island, they've got great arc. I've actually tried to engage a target that's right up against, like an American cruiser. And because of the shell velocity, they drop straight down. It feels incredibly rewarding to go in at someone who is camping on the other side of the island. But that's also the trade-off, right? You can't engage a target that's moving at full speed, actively maneuvering, near the maximum range of your guns. It's impossible against a DD. And it's very difficult on a cruiser, and it's more manageable on a battleship, but you're not getting any fires. So you're putting yourself out there without having dots that continuously roll. Again, semi-armor piercing cannot set fire to anything. It doesn't matter if you enhance it with Demolition Expert or try to use the fire flags. You cannot set any fires. So that is something that is a big trade-off, but it's worth it because semi-armor piercing is that kind of alpha damage on a target. And it's especially glorious against CVs. I have more than enough penetration along the side of the ship to easily average 4,000 to 5,000 damage. Oh, and check this out. I decided to try this. An enemy aircraft on approach, instantly stealth my ship with the exhaust smoke. He had no idea where I was. I didn't think he would hit me anyway. He's a British aircraft carrier with his carpet bomb. I'm way too fast for that. But look at the kind of damage output we're doing. Who needs torpedoes? That's the way I see it. You could enhance your torpedoes, or you could just treat them like the tool that they are. They're just mines. They're slow-moving mines that can deny high-traffic zones. And if you deny high-traffic zones, you're going to be pretty successful. But against your typical targets, there's really no need or benefit from getting torpedo acceleration, in my estimation. And clearly, doubling down on reload of the guns is well worth it. I think the default reload is somewhere in the 7.5 second range, and it doesn't have main battery reload, so the only way to get it down is through talents and modules. But we did outstanding. I think we got 140,000 damage, 4 kills. Clearly very strong, and I want to see if it's strong because of semi-armor piercing or the fact that players have no idea how to fight it. Very similarly to the French DDs when I was testing, I could just decimate everything. But once it went live, people learned how to deal with it and are continuously improving with it. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to check out more of my content, you can click the most recent or the most relevant uploads. You could also choose to subscribe to my channel. We do daily World Warship videos. First impression, how-to, news, review related. My North American recruit invite is on the screen. You can take advantage of that. I stream at twitch.tv/Notser. Thank you, have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you next time.